right, 20 minutes till the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. Please welcome to the program now our old friend Carl Jeffers. Good morning, Mr. Jeffers.
Good morning, Don. Good to visit with you again.
Carl, how are you?
I'm okay, Don, and glad to be here.
So what's going on?
Well, we've had some developments in my own life, I guess, that sort of take precedence over the campaign trail and who's up and who's down right now. About 8 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and Don, I have to tell you that it was something that I was totally unprepared for as news. With the kind of flying around that I do and the kind of schedule I keep, to be very candid, I had often thought that maybe I might be in a plane crash or have a stroke or heart attack just from my schedule and all of those kinds of things. But I had not thought about cancer, and it was very sobering. And the diagnosis was completed and given to me on a Wednesday. And they said that it was serious enough they needed me to start chemotherapy by Monday. So I had no time to plan or prepare. And I have to tell you, it's only been the last week or two that I've actually begun to even accept that I have it. And I'm about to start my third cycle of chemotherapy. So,
what kind of cancer is it?
Multiple myeloma is what I have, and of course it's related to the blood. And I had at the start about 20% of my blood cells were bad. And you remember about a year ago when I was wearing the brace and the cane. Well, that was the key, because I then had a second injury to the back about 3 months ago. And this time they said, a back injury like this, severe multiple stress fractures at the same place in the back twice in the same year, something else must be going on. So they put me in the hospital. They did 2 biopsies and surgery, and that was the ultimate conclusion. And that's what prompted it, because my bone marrow was weak, and the blood being weak, it made me more susceptible to severe stress fractures, where someone else might have had the same injury and it would have been, a bruise or something that would have, just healed on its own in a few weeks. And with me, it became much more serious. So that's what got them to look into it. A great staff that I have working with me out here, and over at Glendale Adventist. It's just been terrific. And I have to say, Don, that it is a life-changing moment when you first hear it. The first time someone tells you that we've diagnosed you with cancer, it's hard to describe what that feeling is. And then you go on, though, Don. You start from there. That's the starting point, and you make your determination that you're going to fight it. And everybody has to fight it. You don't have any choice. And the question is just how successful are we? Ultimately, they think that if I can get this into control and remission, that then I could be a candidate for a bone marrow transplant. And we have City of Hope out here in California, and they are so well respected and known that they're able to use experimental drugs, sometimes even in conjunction with the FDA working with them, because they've made such progress. So that's one option. The other option is, if I don't have the success in qualifying as a candidate for bone marrow transplant, that they would just try to control and monitor. And they said I would have several years. It could be some time that I would have, But ultimately, as Charles Barkley says, time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. There's no question that even those of us in the general population who live a long life after contracting cancer, in the end, there's every likelihood that having cancer will somehow shorten some of the years that you might have had otherwise. But if you have 10, 15 years after having contracted cancer and it's in remission and it's under control, you can be very blessed and thankful for that. And there are those, and I might still be one of them, who can qualify even as a candidate for bone marrow transplant. And at that point, the possibilities are that you can have even a much longer longevity period. So that's how I have to look at it, Don. I said to someone the other day, I'm still adjusting to this, but I just do everything they tell me to do. I take the 15 pills a day. I let them put the needle in the stomach after the chemo. I did have a bit of good news last week, Don. They had determined my white blood count was way too low, and they decided to put me on injections. So the day I have chemo, you have chemo twice a week. I have radiation every day. The day after chemo, I go back in for injections. And in less than 2 weeks, my good white blood cell count went from 0.2% all the way up to 11.6%. And they were really happy about that. And if the doctors are happy, I'm happy. And I've had every side effect except losing my hair. I haven't had that happen. But I've got the swollen ankles and feet. I don't feel my extremities, nausea, diarrhea, all of the things that the chemo does. And I'll just say this. One doctor gave me the best explanation of cancer that I think anyone could possibly give. He says, Carl, cancer is a poison. It's in your body. The way we fight cancer is we inject more poison into your body, and the two poisons fight it out. And while they're fighting it out, you take a big hit. And that's pretty much it, Don.
How have your friends reacted?
Everyone has been so supportive. Everyone is totally shocked and surprised. And I think that would be how everyone would react. Family has been so supportive. My 91-year-old mother flew all the way out to California with my sister to help be with me. And then they've gone back, and my sister's been back another time. Family, friends, even acquaintances, when you hear someone acknowledged, who's willing to acknowledge and share, and that's another thing about cancer victims, we're all willing to share the experience. It's therapeutic in many ways as well. And Don, I'm in a room sometimes with 25 people, all of whom are hooked up the same way I am with the IVs, with the chemotherapy. Everyone has a different cancer, and that's just one room in one hospital in maybe 60 or 70 hospitals just in L.A., and you have cities all over the country and all over the world. I mean, so many people are affected by it. Everyone is supportive, and I've had people call me that, I haven't talked to in a long, long time or did not have much of a relationship with, and still don't, but they wanted to express their concern because they heard. So that and those things mean something. When people say they'll keep you in their prayers because you have cancer, people, those of us who have it, we take that to heart. We count on that you will do that. And so yes, I think it opens up a lot of things, but it also puts your life on hold, Don. I can't work or really do much. I'm in the hospital every day. Chemo's twice a week. Radiation, because they're still treating my back, is every day. And then now I have the injections the day after the chemo. So it puts things on hold. You put things in perspective, but you learn that you have to just keep fighting, and you have to provide most of your own motivation. You really do, because taking 15 pills a day and getting up there and hooked up to chemo. The morning of chemo, you take 5 steroids. The morning after chemo, you take 5 steroids. And that's what causes all these side effects. And then at the end of the chemo, they put a needle in your stomach. I mean, I'm sharing this because people need to, one, do all of the preventive things that you still can do to prevent having these kinds of things happen, to contract cancer. 2, for those who have it, to understand you're not out there alone. There are so many people who have to go through this. And for those who have gone through it, because there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands just in the U.S. of cancer survivors who are now in remission and who are in control, and they should be blessing and thankful every day that they have reached that stage and just
Carl,
enjoyed life.
We're about out of time, but God bless you. And, Deirdre and I are available. Anything you need?
Okay.
Well, not anything. I mean, I'm not going to give you a car or something, but...
Okay. Well, I'm not going to Price is Right for that one. So, no, we're
We've got a good attitude, baby, so hang in there. I love you.
Thank you, Don. Good to be with you today.
All right, Carl. 10 minutes now till the hour.